To one of our top stories now. Too much devotion to the dollar is widely regarded as one of the causes of the global financial crisis in 2008. Aftershocks still being felt in Europe today, of course. Their countries that they thought have found a saviour in the form of the IMF loans are now being criticised for criticising the lender for holding them captive because of it, the terms and conditions of it. According to the IMF's bailout terms, a borrowing country has got to slash jobs, pensions, wages, even change laws in accordance with the lender's whim. Spain, for example, forced around 1 million people out of work. More than half of the nation's young people are still unemployed. More stats. Portugal, still dealing with the banking crisis and shrinking GDP. You mustn't forget Greece either, after 6 years of recession. Still got the worst unemployment rate in the EU. Let's talk about the developments here then regarding BRICS, regarding that, regarding the IMF. Pepe Escobar's with us live on the line. Hi, Pepe. So, talking about BRICS now forming their own bank, one of our big stories this morning. How big a rival is it going to be, really, though, to the IMF or the World Bank end of the day? Real stuff or wishful thinking?
No, look, it's a long and winding road, and it starts now. Look, the first BRICS summit was in Yekaterinburg in Russia 6 years ago. Now we have facts on the ground, on the airwaves, and all over the world. I would say this is the beginning of the implosion of the 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement. This is a development bank by emerging powers. It's based on the Brazilian Development Bank. Many of these beautiful stadia that you see during the World Cup, they were financed by the Brazilian Development Bank. So it's financing of infrastructure by the BRICS themselves, among themselves in 5 countries. Then they can start lending to other countries as well. They can help to industrialize Africa in the long run, and without all these conditions imposed by loans by the IMF and the World Bank. So it is an earth-shattering development.
So what's reaction going to be from the US and the EU?
Well, I'm waiting for the reaction, especially from Wall Street and the City of London. In fact, the City of London, they had some investment analysts already writing columns in British media saying, oh, no, this is a flash in the pan, this is nothing. Of course, it's a model of incentivizing productive capitalism against casino capitalism as is practiced by the Western financial system, Wall Street, City of London, people laundering money everywhere, etc. So the BRICS, they have been thinking about this, I would say, closely, at least for the past 2 years. We need a different model from the IMF and the World Bank to our emerging economies, to emerging economies in South America, in Southeast Asia, for instance, in India and in Africa. And we need to boost investment and investment infrastructure, especially with conditions that these countries can afford. So when I see at Africa in the long term, and this is just the beginning, $100 billion, which can be expanded, Russia and China especially, they can add much more funds to. Yes.
I was going to say, the BRICS has got an eye on expansion, further expansion too. Maybe Argentina next. What after that, do you think?
Look, Indonesia or Turkey, they thought they could have joined the BRICS 1, 2, 3 years ago. This is a gradual thing. Soon we're going to have the so-called mint countries like Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, South Korea, even Iran, which is one of the future regional powers, very important regional powers. They will join, and this is going to become an alternative IMF and an alternative World Bank as well. It's the beginning of a gradual transformation of the international financial system. What was thought about in 1944 cannot apply to 2014. It's a completely different situation. And finally, countries in the emerging world, in fact, the global south, are getting their act together in acts and deeds and not just rhetoric. So, of course, the old hegemonic order they're not going to like it one bit.
As you say, Pepe, big story developing there tonight. Thanks for that. Thanks for joining us in Sao Paulo. Glad you survived the football too. Pepe Escobar, Asia Times roving correspondent, live with us there. Thank you for being with us. After the break.